We have all 10 of your secret rares for Rage of the Abyss. Later this afternoon, Rage of the Abyss is going to be up on Kong's Cards deck, course, quarter centuries, Mulcharmys everywhere. Discount code MCO40 is going to save you on your purchase over here. I highly recommend checking out what Kong's has in stock in about 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. Make sure you guys smash the link, crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Wow, Lacrima, the Scarlet Sorrow, the Scarlet Waifu. Yeah, this thing's always treated as a Fiendsmith card. On normal or special, you can send a Fiendsmith card from your deck to the graveyard, except for Lacrima. During your opponent's turn, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target a Fiendsmith Link monster in your graveyard. Shuffle this card into the deck, and if you do special summon that monster. You know, the waifu tax here, the fact that this is also another extender for the Fiendsmith combo package. I am expecting very early prices for Lacrima for what it is. Granted, it is a one of. That's what's going to save a lot of your wallet here, is you're not going to have to spend insane amounts of money on this card because, as you know, a combo piece, it's not going to be that crazily needed. So I'm happy about this, but I want a QCR for the one of. And then we have the Primite Lordly Load. Now, on activation, you can add a Primite card from your deck to your hand except for a copy of itself, which, you know, rightly so. They don't want you spamming these. You can declare a monster card name, especially summon a declared monster, normal monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. In defense mode, also, you cannot activate the effects of special monsters on the field this turn. I love these blanket conditions for the turn, but that's fine. And then your normal monsters and Primite monsters you control will get 300 attack for each normal monster with different card names in your graveyard. And if I could draw this in my Red Eyes deck that you've seen me playing, I would be happy as crap, but unfortunately I just don't ever draw this card for some reason. This card is incredibly strong. It's a 3 of for the deck if you're trying to play any of the normal monster stuff. I know people are upset that Konami made it a secret rare, but honestly, the card is incredibly strong for what it does. It's worth it. And then we have the Heart of the Blue Eyes. This is always treated as a Millennium card. Yes. You can, control of this card cannot switch. I hope you're ready for some very interesting ruling interactions with this. Imagine exchange with this. You can discard this card to add a Millennium Ankh from your deck to your hand, and then you can use each of the following effects of the Blue Eyes of Heart once per turn. So if this is in your graveyard and you've resolved the Millennium Ankh this turn, this card, or in your opponent's specials or normals, a monster or monsters that is level 8 or higher, or has 3,000 or more attack, send that monster to the graveyard. If you do special summon this card, you can only use that effect of this card's name once per duel. This literally outs any big strong monster that your opponent might have by putting itself onto the field. And I like the fact that they gave Exodia a Blue Eyes card to be able to use, because honestly, I think this card is one of the strongest cool cards you have access to out here. Oh, is that Ukalonics? They made the waifus? Oh, yeah, who's surprised about this one either? First Lacrima, now Fire King Courtier Ukalonics? Yeah, okay. So, on normal or special, you can destroy one other fire monster in your hand or face up in the field, and if you do, get to add a Fire Beast or Beast Warrior or Winged Beast monster from your deck to your hand except for this card. Then you can make this card's level become the added monsters, which, that's not going to come up all that much. She's not a tuner, so that's fine. But if this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, so summon a Fire King Garunix from your deck in defense position. Now, this gives you access to Garunix, which is also, this gives you access to playing Pure Fire King, which is already an incredibly weird thing to consider out here, that you now have the door opened up for that. I am not surprised to see Ukalonics as secret. I expect some heavy price tags with this card because of what it is. Sorry, you Fire King structure deck players. And then we have the giant Mimighoul. 2 level 1s to make it. Of course, they made the more generic one a secret rare, which is still kind of funny to me. So, your non-Xyz Mimighoul monsters can attack directly while your opponent controls a face-down monster. Sure. You can only use each of the following effects of this card's name once per turn. So, On Exceed Summon, you can add a Mimighoul card from your deck to your hand. I really like the fact they're not letting you get multiple searches on these, by the way, if you were to make multiples. And then you detach a material from this card. Target face-up cards your opponent controls on the field up to the number of face-down monsters your opponent controls and destroy them. And if you do, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent for each card destroyed. 3,300 underneath dungeon. The big boss monster of the theme, as you will here. This card is incredibly powerful. I'm happy that Mimighoul's got something so strong, because this is the level of support that many of us were wanting to see out here. And I'm very, very happy with this. And then our sneak peek card, which is interesting, that Charm. I'm glad that they made a actual in-theme card, the exclusive, instead of, or the ultra rare instead of most usual things. But you gotta remember, that's going to be one of the things that's going to kind of bully this card's value. But once per chain, during the main phase, if a Mimighoul monster your opponent controls is flipped face up, you can randomly choose one face down card from your opponent's extra deck. And if it was a monster that can be special summoned to your field, it cannot activate its effects this turn, which is fine. If it wasn't, or it couldn't be a special summon, banish that card. You can only use the effect to Mimighoul Charm twice per turn. I think, realistically, the Mimighoul bigger card up top, the last one you saw, will probably be a 1 to 2 of, probably a 2 of, realistically. If you're going to play Charm or Summon Curse, I like both. I think Summon Curse ripping your opponent's hand just feels better, but this card can steal games. I've already seen it. And then to the Mermail players out here, I'm sorry for this tax. The waifus out here are real. So this is always treated as a Mermail card. Yeah, of course it is, right? Why wouldn't it be? You contribute this card from the hand and an Atlantean or Mermail monster from your hand or field to take a level 7 fish, sea serpent, or aqua monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or special summon it. And then you can't special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except for water monsters. Irrelevant elephant. And then during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard to discard one card and then to draw a card. Yeah, so this lets you trigger the heavy infantry and all that fun stuff during the opponent's turn and, get some pops, or, the marksman if you want to pop a back row. There's some incredibly interesting interactions that this card has to offer with, the set. So I'm not all that surprised to see that. So yeah, good stuff. I'm very curious to know the price. Then we have the hand trap of the set, the new trap card, because who would have guessed having a trap card called Dominus Impulse would, play off of its predecessor. But if your opponent controls a card, you can activate this from your hand. Easy. When a card or effect is activated that includes an effect that special summons a monster, monsters negate that effect. Then if you have a trap card in your graveyard, alright, if you activated, so you get to destroy that card if you have a trap. And then if this activated from the hand, you cannot activate the effects of light, earth, and wind monsters for the rest of the duel. You know the funniest thing about this? There's an interaction that if a Mimighoul player hands you a bunch of stuff and you Dominus Impulse, all those flip effect monsters are now vanillas. Things that you didn't expect to hear from me for 500. It's a very hilarious thing that actually does come up. So think about that for a little bit. Also, this card's probably going to be the second most expensive card in the set, and that's really saying something here. And then we have the Sinful Spoils Deception. Yeah, I wonder why they didn't show this card. So you contribute one monster from your hand or field to add an Azamina card from your deck to your hand. You are searching the one of spell card that you play called Azamina Sacred. If a monster is sent to your opponent's graveyard and you control an Azamina monster, you can make your opponent lose 1,500 life points, and if you do, gain 1,500 life points. That effect doesn't come up all that much, but the fact that this card has that line of text printed on it is insane. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, because it was sent there from the spell and trap card zone, while face up, you can set it. Guess what? Just so you can recur back the Sacred Azamina and reuse this interaction. Once you see this, you're essentially just good to go roll the Omnis every turn. Unfortunately, you're dealing with Wanted 2.0 here. I don't see a world where we get away with this relatively cheaply. And then the Mulcharmy. I mean, who expected Fuwalos to not be the most expensive card? But if you control no cards, quick effect, discard this card and apply these effects. So each time your opponent special summons a monster from the deck or extra deck, immediately afterwards draw a card. Sure. And then once during the end phase, if the number of cards in your hand is more than the number of cards your opponent controls plus 6, shuffle back from your hand into the deck so that the number of cards in your hand equals your opponent's field plus 6. Yeah, gonna be $100. Gonna be rough out here. So those are all of your secret rares for this set. Yee-haw. What do you guys think? Please comment down, tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.